You're listening to the Our Erie podcast with Devonna Paisley,
Marty Wachuku,
and Lydia Lath.
We're here to highlight community voices and bring new perspectives to the table.
We are unpacking Erie's and America's baggage.
We're speaking truth to power.
Take a seat. Coastin Ghostin.
So about 3 weeks ago, the Our Erie team reached out to Mayor Joe Schember's staff and directly to Joe Schember, who is currently running for re-election in the City of Erie.
Mm-hmm.
And we asked if the mayor would come on the show with us, would come on to Our Erie series, the podcast, and talk to us about a specific issue. So we've talked about this in the past. This is a conversation that's happening across the county, actually, and even into Crawford County. And it's actually an issue that was just the Green New Deal Coalition just sent out a blast to a lot of local leaders, calling on them to ask the International Recycling Group, also known as IRG, very specific questions about their plans for development in the City of Erie. And one of the major issues or major concerns that we have is about the way that IRG's development will affect people in poverty, the natural environment of the city and of our lake, and particularly communities of color in Erie, because those tend to be disproportionately affected by these sorts of environmentally harmful developments. So, knowing that the mayor loves to talk about ending racism in Erie, we thought, what a wonderful way to bridge these two topics of ending racism in Erie and his support of IRG, and how maybe we could have a conversation about the complexities of this issue and help find common ground around racial justice and environmental justice and the intersectionality there. Mm-hmm. And Marty, Devonna, what response have we gotten from the good folks at the mayor's office?
Zero.
That's it. Quiet.
We've had quiet. We've had silence. My concern is that it's like, if you don't want to come on the show, that's one thing. It's kind of like the dismissal for me as a community member. And this is, I know this is, for me, I know this is going to be for people very controversial, because people are going to think, oh my gosh, you're speaking honestly. And we have to. I think at this point in time in life, and with the way we want to see things shift in the City of Erie, we have to be realistic about our experiences. And so what we are sharing today is our experience of the fact that with leadership, we understand there's times where things are going to be confrontational, or it feel like they're confrontational. But that is okay. That uncomfortability is okay, because you are supposed to use that for growth and for change. And so for me, I really I'm a little disappointed by just the lack of no response that we've had. And it makes me wonder, then what is going to be the outcome of all the lives of people that are here, that are affected by the choices of not only the mayor, but the administration, all of that. That to me it just speaks volumes. Volumes for me, especially knowing that we have another opportunity. We have the opportunity to vote for Mayor Schember again. And to me, it makes me wonder, what is the true concern? Are citizens to really be heard? Or are we to just take what we are given? I don't like that feeling. And that's my own feeling. It's my own sentiment. I really, it bothers me. And, because if we're just asking for this, what are the further concerns for people who have other concerns as well? Because our concern is still concern of the communities. So we're just using our voices to highlight that, right? So it's,
right.
it's so complex. I don't know. That's my feelings. What are your feelings, Mark?
If we can be transparent and honest, I'm
Yeah,
really
I
tired
think
of
it should be.
um we actually recently recorded with a linguist, and I didn't ask the question well, but I was trying to ask about how language is weaponized and how, sometimes people, and I've talked about this multiple times. I personally get really angry when I hear flowery language about, I want to do this, or I want to do that, or I want to be inclusive, but I never see the actions behind that. And the actions that come with said language is often like performative or like really surface level. And it's like, okay, well, everyone has different approaches to things. Okay, maybe I approach something different than you would, but whenever people reach out to you to try to have earnest conversations, I feel like it's a great opportunity to cross those bridges. Us as young women are connected with young population. Me as a Black woman, I'm connected with certain Black people. Like if you really are about like trying to cross bridges and connect with different people in the community and their experiences and hear what they're talking about, I feel like you should take those opportunities. Especially like I know like there's so many people in this town, you can't reach out to them all. So when someone like reaches out to you, I think you should take that opportunity, recognizing that everyone's busy. But honestly, it is reflective of a lot of leadership that is more afraid to have conversations because they don't want to be held accountable. Talking to us is not going to be talking like some of these older men in town. Yes, we're going to challenge you, but that's okay, because we also want to hear from you, because we in our space have been challenged many times and had to change our own opinions. So allow us that space to hear your opinion, and like I think in the email we talked about our listenership and like the audience we have. This is a great opportunity if you're running for re-election to talk about your record, what you plan to do. We want to hear it. Me professionally, I want to hear it, because professionally and personally, I don't feel like I've seen some of these promises met. I think with racism last summer, there were many opportunities for the mayor to have reflected his values, and they were not shown. I think when he first got into office, he talked about meeting with the people in the city and doing brown bag lunches. I think that happened for a while, but I think if that is true, that you meet people when you want to meet them where they're at, and we're asking you to meet us where we're at. I hope this is not coming across cocky, but I also feel like as a young woman, I always have to hold my tongue. And in this opportunity, I'm not going to.
No. And even the fact that we, you even just said that, it's like, we don't have to, there's like, we shouldn't have to apologize for our emotions, our feelings, the things that we see, the things that we are literally advocating for. And I think that's like, that to me, you don't even have to apologize, like, because it's fair. And we're just asking for that, we're just asking for a response at this point. Just respond.
Tell us no.
And I that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And I really think that it
about a big issue that a lot of people have different opinions on, and like one of the most important voices we've not heard much from. So I think this is a conversation that needs to be had, and this is probably not the last place that conversation is going to be had, but I think we need to have that conversation.
Right. Well, and I have so many thoughts about this too. First of all, you can't claim to be like the most accessible mayor ever or an accessible elected official if you only cherry pick who you will be accessible to according to who makes you feel the most comfortable. Because that's not true accessibility. That's not true transparency. That's like to Marty, to your, like, it's performative accessibility. Then you're there for the photo op at the, the new restaurant that opened up that's owned by a former refugee, but then that's it. Then you're not here to have like the tough conversations. And then what are you doing? Then what's the point? Why are you in elected office then? If you can't have these conversations, and it's true, like, it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
If you're afraid of these conversations, like, then that's not okay. And the second thing, and then I'll be done about this, but like, I had someone talk to me the other day because I'm running for county council, and they're like, Lydia, you're being kind of harsh with the current county council. Like, you're being really direct with them about, these issues. Do you think they'll still want to work with you after you've like called them out on some of these issues? And I said, you know what? Having played nice for Washington Township Council and it taking me a fucking year to get them to move a meeting a half hour later, or still running up against brick walls every single fucking time. Like, I don't need to fucking play nice anymore. And if my directness, if my honesty, if my authenticity, if my transparency makes you feel uncomfortable because I'm an educated woman that knows what I'm talking about, that cares about what I'm talking about, then that's on you to like unpack your own issues about women being empowered and educated and speaking truth. But like, that's not for me to then change my tune to, because that's not gonna fucking make a difference either.
Ooh,
Like,
girl.
because then playing nice doesn't work either.
Right.
So we can either be inauthentic and try to quote unquote play nice, or we can be authentic, be real, and say, you know what? We're pissed about this. We're pissed. We tried to talk to you about this, and we still want to talk to you about this, and we're going to be respectful.
Yeah.
But we're also not going to hold our tongues, and we're not going to sit here and smile and say everything's honky-dory when it's not.
Yeah. I think even you know, obviously we are sitting here, three women who obviously care deeply about people, but not only just about people, just about radical, like we had talked about earlier, like radical change, like, and it almost brings me, and this is not even about, you know, Mayor Schember, like about like what I'm about, I'm tearing and crying. It's about the fact that when you just spoke about truth and how impactful that is, speaking truth, is so scary for a lot of people. And I will say, including myself, right? But the one thing I have to say is that like, again, like I had said about being uncomfortable and though, but also speaking about like your experience is so powerful. And I don't understand why people have a problem with people speaking truth. Like I don't know. How do y'all feel about that? Like it makes me almost want to cry, because it's like, then how are we going to change? How are we going to grow if we can't be truthful and honest?
I feel strong in this moment because I have you two. Because I feel like professionally, I would be a little more nervous to be as honest as I was just then. But it's like, speaking truth is powerful. It's empowering. And we're made to feel unempowered. We're made to feel like, okay, I'm not actually going to say what I'm going to say because you're going to make me feel bad. Or I'm not going to say what I'm going to say because you won't do anything about it. But it's like, we're in a city/society that has been stagnant for 2 or 3 episodes now. We have heard people talk about having a culture shock and feeling like we're back in time. It's because I'm sure people for many years before us have fought and got tired and stopped fighting. Or leadership has just been content with the way things are. So us playing nice and not saying and calling things out for what they are will just perpetuate that problem, so that my little mentee who's 16 years old will still be facing this problem when she's 28 years old. I don't serve her well if I don't challenge these systems. Yes, it makes me uncomfortable. Yes, it makes you uncomfortable on the other end of the table, but it serves we can't move forward if we aren't actually saying what has actually happened. And that's what people want. They won't want us to say anything. And sometimes there's repercussions for it. We'll see what happens when we air this. But at the end of the day, I'm tired. We can't keep tiptoeing around things and hoping things change. Because how can you change anything if you don't recognize what the problem is?
Right. No, and there's a different, like, again, and we were saying this like right when this recording started, but like, we're not attacking Joe Schember or any of his staff like personally, but I don't have any personal vendetta against any, like, I don't have any personal issue with these people. Quite frankly, I don't know these people personally. I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're about. All I know is that professionally, for 3 weeks to pass and to have no response is not acceptable. It's not acceptable on such an important issue. And to see that in the context of all this other, like we were saying, performative, and it feels performative, and that's authentic, and that's the truth. And so if you're not comfortable hearing that, then maybe you need to address how you're doing things, because that's how it's coming across to a big portion of the community. Like, we're not alone. And I don't want to speak on behalf of other people, but I know that there are other people that feel similarly when they see these news stories or these photo ops or these, Facebook
But it's not
videos.
a minority.
No, it's not. So like, I just want it to be clear. This is not disrespectful to the human beings. Like, I deeply respect people and will honor the dignity of every human being I come across in my life. But I also will not stand when people in positions of power are doing things that are harming the community they're supposed to be protecting.
Facts.
So this is about the behaviors and about policies and about systems, not about the people. But we do have very specific people that we want to talk to that have power, that can make change, that say they're committed to change, committed to making this community, this city a better place for everyone. And we want to see that made good on.
Facts. Thank you for sharing that. No, really, that's so
the gauntlet has been thrown in.
Right. I mean, I guess that's our call. This is our call to action. Like, it's like we are looking for a response. Which I guess I should take that back because we got our response. Maybe we got our response. We got our response.
Right. We
got
ignored.
We got ignored. And that's okay, I guess. For you, I don't know. It's not okay, y'all. It's not okay. But
it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll survive. We read it as it is. We see it as it is.
Facts.
So if you want to ignore 3 young women, 2 women of color that are powerful leaders in our community, like, that's fine. We see that. We see that. Our listeners are hearing that. And for anyone listening that has the ear of the mayor, help us reach him. Help us reach him and help him understand that we're here to talk. We're here to have a courageous conversation.
It takes courage on both sides.
It does.
To be honest and for him to hear it and respond.
Yes. And I would love that, actually. I would really love that if if he would come on the show and talk with us, because honestly, what this concern is, the whole point was with IRG, like, and with, just the recycling plant, there just needs to be, there's so much that's up in the air with that. And we really just need answers. We need to be able to share our sentiments with that as well. And the community needs to be more involved in what they think is happening. It's not happening. The community is not, people are speaking out against this. And that's a whole other, but we need at least some answer, something.
So there you have it. Let's see what happens next.
You've been listening to the Our Erie podcast.
Community voices unpacking Erie's baggage and speaking truth to power.
You can continue the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Our Erie Series.
Funding provided by United Way of Erie and Ember and Forge.
Music produced by Light Shadow.
We appreciate you for listening to the Our Erie podcast. Until next time, take care of yourself.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Peace.